I saw an outraged parent holding a box of Lucky Charms, quoting a study from the NIH saying that Lucky Charms has a healthier rating than steak, and pointing out an ingredient in there, which also happens to be present in industrial cleaners and paint thinners. And obviously, this parent was irate. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of irate for that parent. And it's interesting as I'm doing the deep dive on like what's behind all of that. Is this true statement, not true statement? I'll give you the story in a second. A second series of articles came up through a search engine that I use a lot that gives me the news in the medical world called Doximity. And several papers had come up about the increased incidence of kidney stones in children. I love it when two stories seemingly don't seem related or totally related. First of all, what they were referring to as far as this parent was concerned is that the NIH funded a study, and they call it a food compass score. We should encourage people to eat a lot of it, and then you should not eat a lot of it. So things that are real, eggs, cheese, ground beef, these things were to be discouraged. Things to be encouraged include canned peaches, Cheerios, chocolate covered almonds. I mean, I kind of like the NIH, to be honest with you. It's freaking amazing. Sweet potato fries, potato chips, Lucky Charms, grape juice. I mean, all of these are diabetes in a can, but they are all to be encouraged, and meat was to be minimized. Now, that alone is enough for someone to get upset about it. Enter the strange ingredient that is present in Lucky Charms. Now, I should say also in the news is a story about how a lot of children have been eating Lucky Charms and getting sick. Big mystery. Why are they getting sick? And this parent is like, oh, I know why they're getting sick, because trisodium phosphate is also an industrial cleaner. And that's a true statement. Trisodium phosphate, in Europe, they call it E399. It is the same salt, whether you put it in food or you put it in industrial cleaners. The difference is in the concentration. They put it in cleaners because it's very alkaline, and alkaline, like soap, is a great solvent. It's a great cleaning agent. Very dangerous in its concentrated form. You have to wear respirators and rubber gloves and protective gear to handle trisodium phosphate. So why on earth would you put something so caustic in food? And the FDA's answer is it's in such a small amount in your food. It's for aesthetics, for crunchiness, for longevity of the food product on the shelf. It really has nothing to do with the food. You could make the food without this substance. The FDA makes the argument that it's in such a small amount, no harm, no foul. Trisodium phosphate breaks down into sodium and phosphate, and these are both important in your body. Phosphate in particular is important for bone health. If you're exposed to too much phosphate, you will start to pull calcium out of your bones. And so obviously growing children need to be putting calcium into their bones, not drawing it out. And so there's more and more worries about dietary phosphate toxicity. Why? Because these kids are not just eating one small bowl of Lucky Charms, they're eating three or four. Our government encouraged them to eat it for dinner. It's present in a lot of things, not just one brand of cereal. So if you're eating an ultra-processed diet, especially if your children are eating an ultra-processed diet, they're getting too much dietary phosphate. What that is doing is drawing calcium out of your bones. And here, look at that. I'll be darned. When you mix calcium and phosphate, you get kidney stones. So now I'm starting to recognize why children are getting so many kidney stones. It's once again in our food. What the FDA considers generally recognized as safe is a random determination that was made once somewhere in the distant, distant past. It is never revisited. And it's just not the way FDA does things. The original, generally recognized as safe, was presented to the FDA by a food company. The food company said it was a safe amount. The FDA concurred, and now it's present in everything, and you are consuming it in a not so safe amount. Read all the labels and look for something called TSP. In Europe, it is this E399. You probably don't want foods with that in it.